it's going to generate a permit because you're going to exceed a certain amount of activity. So general maintenance, such as a paint job, need a permit?
No.
General maintenance, a couple of bolts here and there, need a permit?
No.
You exceed, what do you want to call it, 50%? 50% rebolting. Need a permit?
Yes.
Need engineer oversight?
Yes.
Who's going to babysit that thing from cradle to grave? Design professional or others acceptable to the building official. Upon conclusion of such item, and documentation comes to you with a beautiful stamp. You just file it. What's the next step? Close the loop for the next 3 to 5 years. You make a phone call to this guy and say what? If he gives you an opinion affidavit, what do you say?
Not good enough.
Fill out one of these. He fills out one of these and sends it to you again. When you call him up for what? Just like any new construction before you allow it to be occupied. All fire escape affidavits, which have been ignored for 75 years, can only be accepted with what? With this signature or with a counter signature? Who's the counter? Who meets at the site? And who do you want to meet at the site? Because when you get there at the site and he's giving you all the paperwork and the thing is nice and painted, and from this class you notice rust still in the connection, that somebody welded all the connections shut, and the guy says, I will certify that this fire escape is structurally sound. So you read him the code, you say the authority having jurisdiction shall accept by load test or other evidence of strength. This is your other evidence of strength. And he goes, yes it is, that's my signature. I've been in the business 35 years. I know the man. He says that at the end. Been in business 35 years and I know the man. I say, great. What do you order?
I want to go up to the rust spot, hold that paper, jump up and down, and say, this is
No,
safe.
just order the load test.
That's the load test.
Just order the load test. So whenever you're not satisfied with other evidence of strength, because you're receiving this as a final, so you can put in the jacket, what can you order if you get there and the engineer doesn't show up, or you get there and you're not happy with what's going on, the engineer sends some other lackey down there, the engineer sends only the vendor down there, only the owner shows up there, and you get there and you see standard stuff that I'm going to teach you today, which is rust jacking in a connection, welded repairs with rust still in the connection, right? And he filled out this thing that says, because it says very clearly in one of these things, it has 100% of all the rust been removed from all critical connections. And he said, yes. You get there's a bulging gusset of rust. What do you say to this guy? And there's another number. Number 19 says, you verified the connections into the building. And you're looking at it, you're like, there's still spalling cement here. What do you say? I want this thing load tested. Now, can he load test it with rust in the connection and spalling cement? No. Nobody will load. I won't load test a fire escape that doesn't pass the pre-load test evaluation. Even though he's telling you it did pass. So this is why, to close this loop I've used for the past 75 years, for the next 3 to 5 years, you guys can't just accept these and throw them in the jacket. You have to go out there and do a final with whoever's signing off
Who's
on
going to
it.
be responsible to pay for this load testing?
Who's responsible?
Well,
The client.
the property.
The property owner, yeah. So most fire escapes, typical load testing is 1 to 3,000.
Or the inspector is requesting this, but it's
Code request, it says, design for the authority having jurisdiction shall accept by load test or other evidence of strength. Elevators, how do you verify elevators in all the buildings? Load test it. What do they do in the building? They shut that elevator down, do what? Put plates on it, do what? Fire escapes do the same thing. And that elevator doesn't sit outside. We don't have exposed elevators everywhere. They're all inside the building. We have a piece of steel made of carbon that does what? Guaranteed to rust. 75 years. It did a great job, guys. Guess what it can't do? It can't do another 75 years the way it is right now. It's not an if question, it's a when. Let's take a break. I'll be around if anybody wants to speak directly, just, you know, if anybody has any questions. Stretch.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Jason.
That's okay. Let's say hey, did you scream about the sprinklers? And you did it anyway. Hey, you screamed about the elevator test. I agree with you. So it's just, what I tell people is, listen, don't tell them that they have to spend this money. Tell them you haven't spent any money on this fire escape. And we're finally getting to it. So it's not what you're going to spend today, it's what you didn't spend for 50 years.
Yes,
So
that's the truth.
think about it.
We have them everywhere. Most of them out there, everywhere. Now they're only 3-story buildings. They're not, but they're old.
They're old,
I don't.
and some of them are wood.
I don't want to go. Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the wood. There is testing for wood. We'll explain that, so that way you can get these wood ones under control too, because they're considered the fire escape means of egress.
All right. Good.
We'll cover all of
That's the
that.
type of construction. I wished I would have snapped this picture yesterday. Fire escape terminated about 10 feet in the air. Evidently there was an old wood building.
Used to go.
Was that, I think, so now. Click. I guess the prices you probably asked for the whole thing to be certified.
Yeah, it still has to be
And
certified.
like you
So
said,
whenever you lose your
and you know where it
neighbors-
was, in the back, like you said, hidden in the back.
But you know what? You know why that was? So 100 years ago, when they built fire escapes, the first fire escape was called crossover balconies. No ladders to the ground. So a crossover across a fire wall,
And
and
then
now I
actually,
can kick
that's
in a
what's
neighbor
up
with
at the
a...
top of
Right.
this one as well, and then
Right.
across the roof.
As soon as they lose that side, they gotta make a completely gray situation.
Yeah, the bottom, like evidently probably went to an old shed or a garage roof or something.
Right.
And now there it is hanging.
Yeah. Well, we get a
I
lot
said
of
the first
photos
thing-
at the National Fire Escape Association. We get a lot of photos that guys sent to us that we got.
I'm
But I
sure
got
you
some
have that.
great stuff here that you guys are gonna love. But the key here is not to make everybody experts. Just make everybody, because you guys are not sprinkler experts. You rely on experts to do their job because you've made it so that they can't lie about it anymore. And if they do lie, they'll never work a day.
Yeah.
You know, there's that cost of doing it wrong. You know, and so everything finally got its attention. Electrical got its attention. Plumbing got its attention. You know, I can pull a homeowner's permit on everything except plumbing, except electrical. You know what I'm saying? I can do general repairs, but no major. I can't build a house all by myself. You know what I'm saying? Because there's certain things. So because fire escapes are still being done by florists, we're not going to say that's being taken up.
No, yeah, that's what, it needs something there.
Yeah. Now we just need
I
to.
agree there.
And all we do is just create a checklist, work on it for the next 3 to 5 years, have a few more of these classes to come back and say, hey, how's it going? Because it ain't going to be pretty. At the
National
beginning.
Fire Safety Month is coming up. That's a
Yeah.
good time to roll out the task force.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. There is no time. We got to be ninja.
Yeah,
You got to ninja this thing, because if you come out, they'll come throwing rocks at you.
I know that.
Because nobody even wants to talk about this. But the liability, the millions of dollars spent in a lawsuit is what's going to kick everybody.
Yeah.
So all we need to do is just sort of put it out and put it in the hands of certain people and say, listen, everybody's going to have the building safety initiative. And from there, it's going to have its offshoot, but we have one leader, the building department, done. Everybody just keep feeding referrals over to you guys, and so that way they can complete their file.
Oh yeah, they're closed out. They have a competition of men and beat out because we're trying to get business in here. We have to keep fighting for safe business. Don't we want safe businesses? Safe.
Well, that's why we have to get everybody, so fire must be part of this,
Yeah.
health must be part of this, building must be part of this.
Definitely
You know what I'm
sounds
saying? So now you're gonna piss off 4 people, say, hey, I don't want this anymore. Okay, great, let me tell all my other 4 that
And in our municipality, fire would be the better driver, actually. because
Almost all
Probably
municipalities.
all municipalities. They have more respect for fire than for building and trades.
That's because the fire is politically powerful in
Yeah.
every jurisdiction. Yeah.
well, again, this is where we say, this is what's going on in other cities. Now it's your job to speak with other brothers from other states and say, where's the noise gonna come from? And they'll warn you. I mean, I just say what's out there.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't have to reinvent the wheel, we just need to copy and paste your name onto the wheel that already
Although
exists.
fire may step into that, they'll will back out because of not having a building expertise. They're gonna say, here it is. The building and trade needs to address it.
Right. So, and that's where we come in. We come in to say there needs to be unification of the groups. And then, and by creating a safety initiative for the fire department to identify all the fire escapes out there as a white, a yellow, or a red. That's what, that, you know, we haven't ordered anything yet. We're just saying, we need to identify, it's like the same way we identify every you know, when you piggyback it. So the same way you go out and verify every fire hydrant, you know, it's one of those initiatives, you piggyback it on something and say, hey, we also now need to verify that every building, residential or commercial, and that's where you trust those 1 to 3 families, which is the sacred cow. Don't touch me, you know. That's the one way in, is to say you need 2 units on these 1 to 3 stories. Well, I should say 1 to 3 families. You know, you have to prove they have two units. And something's gonna come up, some little renting thing, some little permit thing. So it's these minor little things that will bring to that attention. Or at least what they call a referral. That's all I want. Yeah, sure.
I know, recording you harness yourself.
Of course, it has to be.
I was just gonna say.
How can I be one?
Well, we do. I have an 8,000 square foot training center that I'm building up in Boston. I already started the school, so, you know, I haven't owned the property, so I'm creating a school. And it's gonna be for that, you know, our future inspectors are gonna be, a lot of them are gonna be city officials, part-timers. You already have that expertise on. Farscape, it's like looking at a rusty car. You really know exactly, every rusty car that's sitting in a barn has the same problems, you know? No, it's not gonna kick over. Yes, the battery is dead. Right. The brakes don't work, the oil is no good, you know, you name it. And every rusty car you pull out of a barn, 90% of the time, it has the same issue. So Farscape is the same. They're going to be very consistent. But we have and our thing about our training class at Boston is that it's the first digital internet class. So you can actually train online after our training.
Hey, how are you?
How's it going? And learn it that way. You can, it's a nice niche. It's $1 million industry, $1 billion industry in that there's 1 million Farscapes that could be examined. There's 10 million buildings in the U.S. and only 10% of them are old. It's 1 million buildings. That the law says every 5 years now needs to be inspected. You know who's going to be your best helper? As soon as the insurance company gets into this, where's your certificate? You guys can't make anywhere near the amount of noise they make. Like, hey, we need to do it. None.
Some own building and trade picked up, insurance companies said, you have a fire, you just had work company, where's your permit and inspection report? And that helps carry a little bit of that. We're not giving you insurance. Safe.
It's like I told some on the porch. Great. Required a railing 30 inches.
Right.
They said, we don't care.
You don't care.
We want us to insure you, you put one up. Really?
Really?
So I put one up.
Really? It's like building an interior stereo in your house. You want this glass one-line cable thing.
Yeah.
You go in there, you build a super rail with, well, you know, the way you want. Get in, get it inspected by everybody, include the insurance, and as soon as it's all done, rip the rail out, you put in that glass, single cable, exposed, whatever. Why? Because you do it the way you want to do it, the insurance company won't insure you. So this is where Farscape are at. We just basically make you aware that there is a plan. And this, it's been asked, others have been at it for 10 years, so talk to other brothers and sisters. Your sister state, New Jersey, has done more than the entire 49 states combined. Given all the activity of all the other states, New Jersey has done more than all the other 49 combined.
And then look at Pennsylvania in the legislature and their wisdom figured we didn't do residential sprinkler. They may take the residential sprinkler down, but they never added in They never, remove that.
This weekend,
I've already burned it now.
this weekend I was, we have a camp right by the wall. President Russian, like 6 lumber. We're out here tonight. So I just chopped it. Hey. Actually, you know, around the evening. And then it's actually, and I had like block of wood over here that when you put there, it'll slow burn and do whatever. And I took it right, and I'm like, because the guys did brand new construction. Let it out. I know. And they were watching it. They knew the guy. Like, feels like the house we built is $1 million house over here. Go up in 15 minutes. Because he not only was it running fast, it was crackling.
I would drink it for the caffeine.
I'm like, it's so dry.
I'm gonna put sugar and creamers. Close it out.
You like the pasta part?
Oh, yes, it's very good.
This guy's ready to beat on fire 6 more? It has to chop the meat rest a little bit more.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I thought we just.
Everybody got your waters? Everybody got your
I
coffees?
always said to myself, what about
All right, before we
I
continue.
know, and because I was a kid, I didn't know. And then I think my first trip was to DC.
Again, you know, everything, you can go on our website, I'll say every afternoon, I'll show everything that's on, but every one of these
Calling,
pages.
almost the wheels of time, I seen you out there, I didn't
Oh,
get to
did
say
ya?
hi, yeah.
Word documents, so we can have your
Yeah,
creative
okay.
committee.
Yeah, I enjoy that.
You like ordering these kind of documents that I make for them, you go there,
We were
bring
looking
an
at a couple.
online
It's just
PDF
for
or Word
fun and
document, copy
the
and
one we
paste.
liked, I
So
really
the
like this one
wheels
was a
are
39
already
cup.
been
I know there's a
examined.
bunch of them out there.
The issue is that
seen the price.
even though I've been at this for about 10 years, guess who gets their really little hands on it every now and then? And
I mean, they're
softens up
nice,
some
but
of
if
the
you have money,
loopholes.
you know what kind of car I want to buy.
So I've been asked
If I could
by
buy one of
Morgan,
those for
by
20,
Stu
30
White, to basically go in again and see if I can close up, so.
But they're neat.
I need to close up your inspector side so that it's very simple, guys. If you're gonna go and have somebody pass a fire escape, you
Should've said,
already have
what do we
jurisdiction
want?
shall accept by load test or other evidence of strength. So this is called a pre-load test evaluation. Got it? So when I go there and I look at the fire escape and I wanna pass it and then load test it, or I wanna pass it with other evidence of strength. What's other evidence of strength? Other evidence of strength is that the fire escape is 5 to 25 years old. That's other evidence of strength. Got it? And if I take an old fire escape, 75 years old, and I change every connection on it, got it? Every critical connection, I change with brand new bolts. And every connection into the building, I verify or I duplicate. Have I reset that fire escape? Now, if you ever take old iron, right, that's all rusty on the inside, you cut it, what's it look like inside? Isn't it shiny? Isn't it still new? It's amazing. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the iron we use today is iron that is 50, 75, 100 years old. When they take down buildings, they recycle a lot of this iron. So the main point is that if you change all the bolts on a fire escape, you are meeting other evidence of strength. You verify all the connections into the building, you're meeting all the evidence of strength. If you do a combo of the two, it's called an integrated load test, meaning I can have a fire escape where I change only the treads, bolts, but not the balconies because they're in good order. What do I have to load test? Only. Platforms are original hardware, 50 to 75 years old, in fair to good condition, but the treads were all rebolted. Which ones do I have to load test? Platform only. Got it? Called an integrated load test. So this is where you're coming in with other evidence of strength. So I bring you to a job site because I've sent this in and you called me up and said, hey, come down here. We need to, all final inspections on fire escapes must be done by one of the inspectors. In order for us to put it away for 5 or 8 years. Got it? And all of a sudden I get down there, what do I have to prove to you? Because the NFPA says it best, the authority having jurisdiction shall accept by load test or other evidence of strength. I want you to let me pass this fire escape with other evidence of strength. Otherwise, what will you jam down my throat because you're not happy with what I did there? Load test. So that's what you gotta remember. The load test is the threat. It's not the cure, it's the threat. The cure is what? Other evidence of strength, which is maintenance. So, the authority having jurisdiction shall accept by load test or other evidence of strength. That's the NFPA. IBC, examine, test, or certify. What's that mean? What's examine mean? This is an examination. Is this a report?
No.
No. Test, what's it mean? Examine, test, or certify. What's test mean in the IBC? Load test. It says, because they said it in, the NFPA, right? And then it says certify. What does certify mean in IBC? Who described it a little bit better? The NFPA described it, but they called it other evidence of strength. Who else also calls it other evidence of satisfactory strength? The IFC, because they say examine, test, and certify. Right? So, do we want load testing? Is that what we really want? We're going to start creating all kinds of load testing companies, and somebody asked me, if you get on it, do you put on the harness, you carry the bags? Is it the camel, the straw that broke the camel's back? Is it dangerous? Guess what? It's dangerous. Is that what we really want? We want to load test everything, or we want other evidence of strength?
Other evidence of strength.
Got it? Which is also another word called certification, right? Because your IBC says examine, test, certify. So when you hear the word certify, what do you tell the engineer? What are you really looking for? Other evidence of strength. Well, let's talk about the liability. Because a lot of engineers don't want to sign these documents because they think they're taking on liability. That's why they love opinion letters. So if you load test it, does the engineer have any liability? He gets there, he passes the pre-load test evaluation, they put sandbags on it, 5 hours later everything's all done, and passed. Any liability to the engineer if a year later the thing collapses to the ground? No, he load tested it. Why would he have any liability? He load tested it. What happened? Who knows what happened? An act of God, something else happened. But during the load test, did it pass?
So at that time, he's good,
He's good. He's good for 5 more years. Because why?
even though it failed within that 5 years.
Yeah, he's not saying it's good for 5 years. He said, I tested it that day. It didn't fall that day. It's 100 pounds per square foot.
Okay.
When's the next cyclical? 5 more years. Now let's talk about other evidence of strength. So he load tested this one, and a year later it collapsed. Any liability to the engineer?
No.
No. The second fire escape right next to it, the guy on that over there chose to change all the bolts. So now the engineer signed off on it with other evidence of strength, right? So he verified the connection into the building. He changed every bolt, and he passed it that year. A year later, a platform collapses. And you get there, and one of the bolts sheared. Is the engineer liable?
No.
Why? What's the standard? Right. Because what failed? The bolt failed. So who's everybody going to sue?
The bolt manufacturer.
The bolt manufacturer. So, as you speak about this stuff, once engineers understand the difference, if you load test it, any liability to the engineer? No. If they change all the bolts, any liability to the engineer?
No.
Okay. Opinion letters. Any liability to the engineer?
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll give you a million reasons.
I'm sorry, I thought that was just a way.
No, I'm just telling you, on opinion letters, everybody thinks it's a golden parachute, but guess what happened? I'll give you an instance. I had a Chicago incident. We fixed a fire escape on a 5-story building. Changed every bolt. All the welds looked great. We didn't rebolt the welds. All of a sudden, as soon as we certified the fire escape, right, with a registered architect signing off, right, everybody walked through. All of a sudden, now the owner says, I'm going to have my facade worked on. Okay? And he lets the masonry company come in, a restoration company come in. Guess what they use every day to bring bricks, mortar, and they use the cantilever and the whole fire escape system. Right? The cantilever has this piece of steel on it, because in Chicago, a lot of the weight is on one side, so a lot of times the steel tends to bow out, bend out, whatever. And to straighten out some of these stairs, they put in stiffener. angle. And did they bolt it on or weld it on? Welded it on. 3" by 5" by 3/8, 12 to 15-foot long piece. And you smack the cantilever, which I'll have a copy of the cantilever here in the video. It hits and it wiggles. Hits and it wiggles and torques. What eventually happens to all welded connections when you wiggle and torque it? You snap one weld or 8 to 12 welds. And when it falls, does it hit a guy with a helmet on his head or no helmet on his head? And when that guy crushes his skull and doesn't die, what starts? The lawsuits, right? And who do you bring in? Everybody. This guy sued the owner of the building, the management of the building, the retailers in the building, the inspection company, the repair company, his own boss, which was the restoration company, and he also sued the city, Chicago, and the architect that signed off on that. So the opinion affidavits, their protection, a little bit. What do you have to pay though? You have to pay the legal fees to prove that it's not yours. And I had on that document, to the best of my information, I believe, which is an acceptable document to the city of Chicago. He was looking for $27 million. I learned, I said to the lawyers that were doing this is the best, worst thing that could ever happen to me, because now I was on the other side of the fence and they wanted to prove what? That I did or did not do my job. Right? From that, one thing came out. You show me any fire escape that has a welded connection, I need you to x-ray it or load test it, or as soon as you pop a bolt through it, what happens? Well, that's going to be standard, that all critical welded connections need to be x-rayed, load tested, regardless, no opinions. Or as soon as you pop a bolt, what do you eliminate? Right? Why? Because I got a million reasons. So this guy, basically, by being in a room full of lawyers with their sharp little pointy fingers, who do they want to blame? Right? So there is no protection with the disclaimer letter, including the city, because the guy gave you an opinion affidavit, and who accepted it? You did. So guess why Chicago got sucked into that also? Because they said, yeah, I'll take that. But the law says, examine, test, certify. Did we do any of those with that fire escape? We didn't load test it? Right? So if that's the case, I would have been not load testing all my new bolts, but what would I have load tested? All the welds. To make a long story short, the $27 million shrunk to 1 because the guy claimed to have all kinds of problems, all kinds of things, and $27 million later, he was caught playing volleyball and soccer in the field. And it was right at the cusp of the trial, and again, all the insurance agents basically, put somebody following him. He was just trying to defraud. But I still asked the insurance guy, I said, why did you still give him $1 million? He says, can you still crack his skull open? He didn't get the 27, but no matter what, he was going to win something because something fell out of the sky. The fire escape didn't break. It fall on him. It was broken off from him using it as a working platform. Okay, so.
What about tenants who just use the fire escape as a means of egress to the house on an everyday basis?
They do it, and
that's
that's
not its intent, but we see that a lot.
No, again, don't forget, there's very little writing anywhere of what the intent is, and it said in that writing that nobody ever really defined these fire escapes and what their intent is, and for 75 years. They're saying, I'm telling you that a properly maintained and installed fire escape will never fail any use, ever. Will it?
Should.
What do you should? We already have proof. A properly installed fire escape that's well maintained, will it ever, under normal use by tenants, firemen, contractors, anyone under normal use, not crazy, ever fail?
Impossible.
It's impossible because it's overbuilt. In some cases, you're gonna have questions when you look at rear decks built to 60 pounds per square foot, but they're really called fire escape decks. And so now we have a problem because, you know, some of the construction of the decking on the back to be used as a second means of egress is really 60 pounds per square foot.